Hello, how are you? It's been a long day, and I guess you've decided to join me for the ride along, but we're going to talk a little bit about this. First of all, I want to let you know that road rage is something that is real. We really have to look at a couple of things: road rage versus intermittent explosive disorder versus bipolar 1. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this particular podcast, but I want you to come and go with me. We're going to get in some traffic, into some Atlanta traffic. Y'all know that Atlanta is number 2 for issues with road rage in America. It's behind Eugene, Oregon. Where's Eugene, Oregon at? But we're going to talk about road rage. This is a serious problem. We're talking about in the last 17 years, we've had about 16,000 issues with that, and we've had over 200 actually fatalities. And I want you to remember that 66% of those fatalities in traffic are because of road rage. Do you have road rage? Now maybe, can I get over? If somebody let me get over? You start breathing heavy, you start sweating. All these things happen when you get road rage. Now, I want you to be very, very careful. This dude gonna let me out? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I gotta do like she did. No, he ain't gonna let me over. Thank you, sir. And you see how I did that? A nice wave to say thank you. So I'm sharing that to you because you see, just in that little bit of traffic, that was an incident that could have led to road rage. Now I really don't have that one. I probably got some more, but that one I ain't got because I just take it easy. Some nice music in the car. You all weren't here with me to kind of keep things in perspective. So when you're driving, keep everything in perspective. You want to get there whole and well, whether or not they're at all. And these new cars give you a lot of little signals. Now, let's talk about this road rage. When we talk about road rage, there are 2 other disorders I got to kind of educate you on. One is intermittent explosive disorder, and the other one is bipolar 1 disorder. Now, those disorders really require some medication management. Now, they're not like road rage. Road rage, we know exactly what the stimulus is, so we can deal with it. If you can't deal with traffic, don't drive. If you can't deal with traffic, you can't deal with bad drivers, don't become no Uber driver, don't do DoorDash, don't do anything that requires you to be in the car all day, because that's gonna make you just all flustered by 12 o'clock, especially in places like Atlanta. So I want you to realize that we got to be very careful when it comes to this road rage, the bipolar, and intermittent explosive. What is intermittent explosive? That's when these are people that go from 0 to 60 real quick, not in a car. They just do it. They just get mad, angry real quick. They calm down, but by the time they calm down, the relationship is over. They've been fired again. They've broken some glass in the house, or they've wrecked the car. So that's that intermittent explosive disorder. But bipolar is one of those really, really more serious impulse control disorder that's actually a mood disorder, because once you get the irritability that goes with the bipolar, sometimes you can't cut it on, you can't cut it off. And then you'll find yourself in what we call a manic state. And the thing about bipolar, usually when it comes to bipolar, people who complete suicide that are bipolar do it actually in the manic phase. Remember that. Because when you are in the depressed phase, you don't really have the energy to complete suicide. So sometimes when you're in this phase, you find yourself all upset, all angry, all mad, all over the place. Now, I'm a psychiatrist. So where does this road rage come from? You really want to know? We're at a red light. A lot of times, those that experience a lot of road rage have early childhood trauma that has not been resolved. You got to keep in mind now, we looked at the last 7 years, about 12,610 injuries were because of road rage. And then there were 218 actual murders from road rage. And remember, we look at all the traffic fatalities over this period of time, looking at epidemiology, 66% of those were because of road rage. This is something that's very, very serious. So when you think about this road rage, it's not really the issues of the highway. There are cars all around. I mean, it's 5 o'clock in Atlanta. The traffic is a lot. Now this dude gonna come over in my lane. He got his blinker on, but you gotta kind of, it may see how you get in there, but he got in there, that's cool. But, I don't have an issue with road rage, so it doesn't really bother me, but that cutting off, it makes some people very angry, cutting off. So getting back to some of the psychodynamic issues with this, there's usually some trauma somewhere and some unresolved conflicts. So we began to look at early childhood trauma. Was it resolved? How you manage the trauma, how you manage things now. Because usually people that have road rage, they're just typically angry people. Because you're not going to find a calm, cool, collected person with a bunch of road rage. It's like the persons that have that behavior. So if you're experiencing a lot of road rage, a lot of aggression, there may have been something that happened early in your childhood that you did not deal with. There may be an issue, a loss, death of a parent, something that's there that you need to process. Because when you are responding with road rage, it really is a response that's not commensurate with the actual incident. Because if you flip me one off, what I can do is I can keep looking straight, or I can flip back. But then you got a glove compartment, and I don't know what's in your glove compartment. So the best thing to do is, when it comes to these issues, is to kind of chill out and don't find yourself responding in that particular moment or in that particular time, because it could be deadly. But I want to tell you that when you think about this whole process of the fight versus flight, the adrenaline, the push, the aggression, it comes from inside. And it's an external stimulus is causing an external response. And that external response sometimes is way out of proportion to what the actual incident is. Now, how do you manage road rage? Here's a couple of things I want to share with you. Number one, choose the times when you're going to commute. If you really can't manage traffic, then you have to go to work maybe a little earlier than you like. Because you do know when it hits 7:30 in most of our cities, the sun comes up, whether you're in New York, Atlanta, Detroit, Dallas, Texas, the traffic is gonna go up. And once that traffic goes up, there are gonna be more people. So try to choose times that are not gonna be more travelers on the road. The next thing is, before you leave your home, do your meditation. Breathe deep. Try to get yourself together. Try to say, I know I got to go to work, got to eat, got to pay my insurance. A lot of things I got to do. So the best thing for me to do is for me to just try to take a moment to breathe and relax, so that when you get on this road, you're ready to get on this road. Now, another thing you want to do, choose the right pathway. Now, this is on the other side of here is Northside Drive, and it is wall-to-wall people. But guess what? That's the only way I can get home. So what I'll do is I get on the car, cut on a couple of tunes, or I talk to a friend of mine. Friend, family member, mom, auntie, cousin, somebody on the way home, have a nice conversation and realize that it is what it is. I know that it's going to be at least an hour. It's 5 o'clock, so it's going to be tough. So I'm not going to get too excited with what's going on and too caught up into the amount of traffic. The next thing you may want to do is, if you can, take a couple of days to telework. Talk to your boss, because it's very popular now to say, hey, can I work from home a couple of days? That will help you in the overall concept of managing your road rage. Road rage can cause problems externally and it can cause problems internally. Because if you walk around all uptight, all upset, all aggressive, then your blood pressure can go up, your level of anxiety can go up. And if you're not in any kind of medical treatment, you know a lot of people choose different ways to manage their anxiety. And usually if you're not in treatment, people use alcohol, marijuana, and other types of medicinals. So we want you to be very careful with that and start thinking about if you can work from home a couple of days. And then the thing that you could do most is change your perspective of how you see this thing called traffic. If you're in a major city and you really can't handle it, I lived in Syracuse for 10 years and we rarely had any kind of traffic. I mean, you just didn't have it. And if there was traffic, you could find an easy way to get from one side of town to the other. But when I came back home to Atlanta, because all of you all are coming to Atlanta, by the way, an announcement, Atlanta is closed. We're closed until 2025. But if you can't manage a lot of traffic, you can't manage somebody cutting you off, you can't manage somebody sending you a nice signal every now and then, you may have to move out of a major city. And the road rage is real, and I use some humor, and I thank you for taking this ride along with me, but this is very serious. I had some friends and some family members that have got some serious road rage, and I listen, and I don't get offended. I mean, because I had a relative that just cursed me out yesterday. But it was because of an incident where somebody cut her off. And after they cut her off, they started driving 5-10 miles an hour in a 45-mile speed zone. I know that was frustrating. And probably if I was on a bad day, I'd probably been frustrated too. But that is a normal, typical response when you do have the issue with this road rage. But this is a healthy tip. Because a lot of times there are those of us that don't like the doctor, so we're not checking out blood pressure. And so you notice every time you get home from work, there's a headache, you probably have road rage. If you get anxious when you have to leave and go to church, a choir rehearsal, to a movie, on a day, and you know there's going to be traffic and there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, you might have road rage. A lot of people get all confused with social anxiety, but sometimes people just don't want to be in traffic because when you're in traffic, there's a fear that escape may not be able to, maybe a problem. And I think that's some of what people experience with this whole thing called road rage. So you've taken this ride along with me. I hope something has been very helpful for you. And guess what? We've been in traffic. I've been cut off. God gave me the finger. I've had a couple of red lights. I've been near some in-ramps. And I've even been through a little traffic. But guess what? It's all clear. It's all cool. So once again, remember that a healthy mind is essential for a healthy body.